Hello everyone, welcome to Gyan Mimamsa. In continuation with our polity videos, this is chapter 2 of Lakshmikant of Indian Polity. It will be helpful for UPSC 2023 examination. Also 2022 students can watch this for revision, but mostly it will help in 2023 examination, and in this video series we will be completing whole Lakshmikant. So let's start today's video. Before that, you can, for any information or any query, you can message me at info@gyanmimamsa.com, and also the various links to social media will be shared in the description box below. So the chapter 2 is making of the constitution. As you all know, first what we need to know is what is constitution. So constitution is a fundamental law of a land. It is a rule book kind of. There are various types of constitution. We will not go in that detail today because there will be a separate video on the constitution, types of constitution and Indian constitution. Today we are concerned with the making of constitution itself, and the video today will be a shorter one. So let's start it. So when did the demand for a constituent assembly came? It came from M.N. Roy, a noted communist leader, in 1934, where he talked about constituent assembly for India. And the demand was further put up by Indian National Congress in 1935, and it demanded that Constituent Assembly should be there to frame Indian Constitution. After 1935 till 1946, a lot of things happened, including the Government of India Act 1935, then the Cripps Mission, then Cabinet Mission and all. And based on those, we will be doing in the history classes. Based on the Cabinet Mission's recommendation, Constituent Assembly for India was created in 1946. Now, what was the composition of the Constituent Assembly? The total strength was kept to be 389, 296 from the British India and 93 from the princely states. Now, what is British India and what were the princely states? So British India was the part of India that was ruled directly by the crown through the viceroy, as we studied in the chapter. And there were a lot of princely states, around 700 princely states in undivided India. So those were ruled by the local princes, but they have signed some kind of treaty, specifically the subsidiary alliance with the British government, and earlier in the East India Company, as we have understood in the first chapter, and we will be studying more in detail in the history classes. So in British India, there were 11 provinces and 4 chief commissioners provinces. These were like analogous to today's states, and these were analogous to today's union territories. So from these 11 states, 292 members out of 296 were elected, and 4 were elected from the chief commissioners provinces. And out of these princely states, 93 seats were to be nominated for the Constituent Assembly. Total strength of the Constituent Assembly was to be 389. But what happened? The princely states denied, because according to Cabinet Mission Plan, they were left on their own will if they wanted to be independent or they want to join any of the India or Pakistan. So they did not join. So these 93 were not nominated. In the elections, out of 296, 208 were won by the Indian National Congress, 73 by the Muslim Leagues, and 15 by others. The election happened by how did they get elected? They got elected from the provincial assemblies. The members of the provincial assemblies elected these based on 3 different kind of reservation, we can say. There were seats reserved for Muslims, there were seats reserved for Sikhs, and there were general seats for on whom the communities other than Muslims and Sikhs can contest and win. Okay, so like this, 296 plus 93, these 93 were not nominated by the prince, and 296, 208 by NC, 73 by Muslim League, and 15 by others. So Muslim League did not join Indian Constituent Assembly. So what happened? These 208 and these 15, total 223 was the strength of the Constituent Assembly at that time. How it worked? The Constituent Assembly worked. First objective resolution came. So what happened? On 9th of December 1946, the Constituent Assembly sat for the first time. Dr. Sachidanand Sinha was the eldest member, so he was made the chairman of the Constituent Assembly. On 11 December 1946, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as the chairman of the Constituent Assembly. And on 13 December 1946, Jawaharlal Nehru moved this working of the Constituent Assembly. Okay. This is called objective resolution, and it was moved by the Constituent Assembly and by Jawaharlal Nehru in the Constituent Assembly. It laid for the fundamentals and philosophy of the Indian constitutional structure. And this is mostly the preamble of our constitution. So what were the changes brought by the Independence of India Act 1947? The assembly was made a full sovereign body, because India is now independent. The assembly can work as per their convenience, and it was also made a legislative body. So the assembly acted as a parliament for India before the elections of 1951-52. So the assembly had now two functions. Assembly had now two functions. One was to form the constitution, and two was to act as a parliament. So while formulating the constitution, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the chairman, and while acting as a parliament, G.V. Mawlankar was the speaker of the parliament. Okay. Then, as I already explained, Muslim League withdrew. What function did Constituent Assembly perform other than formulating the Constitution of India? So it ratified the membership of Commonwealth in India in 1949. It adopted national flag on July 22nd, 1947. So this may be asked in state PCS. Adopted national anthem. You must know the difference between national anthem and national song. National anthem is our Jana Gan Man and national song is Vande Mataram. Both were adopted on January 24th, 1950. And Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as the first president on January 24th, 1950. So on 26th January 1950, the Constituent Assembly ceased to exist, but it still acted as a parliament till the first general election in 1951-52. Okay. Moving ahead, there were three kinds of committees: major committees, minor committees, and drafting committee. So major committees were Union Powers Committee, Jawaharlal Nehru was the chairman. Union Constitution Committee, Jawaharlal Nehru again the chairman. Provincial Constitution Committee, Sardar Patel. Drafting Committee, everybody must know, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights, Minorities and Tribal and Excluded Areas, Sardar Patel. So till now we can see 2 Jawaharlal Nehru, 2 Sardar Patel, and 1 Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Out of 5, 2 to 1. There were 3 more committees: Rules of Procedure Committee, Dr. Rajendra Prasad; States Committee, Jawaharlal Nehru; and Steering Committee, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. To total 8 committees, 3 headed by Jawaharlal Nehru, 2 headed by Sardar Patel, 2 headed by Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and 1 headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, so these were the 8 committees. You can see again. Okay, Union Powers Committee, Union Constitution Committee, and State Committee headed by Jawaharlal Nehru. Provincial Constitution Committee and Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights, Minorities and Tribals were headed by Sardar Patel. Drafting Committee headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And Rules of Procedure Committee and Steering Committee headed by Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Now, Drafting Committee, this is again a very important committee, and sometimes they may ask the members of the Drafting Committee. Chairman Dr. Rajendra Prasad, N. Gopala Swami Iyengar, Aladi Krishna Swami Iyer, Dr. K. Munshi, Syed Muhammad Sadullah. These were the 5 permanent members. And then N. Mahadevan, he replaced B.L. Mittal because B.L. Mittal, his health was not well. And T.T. Krishnamachari, he replaced D.P. Khaitan, who expired in between. So these were the 7 members, and these 2 were also the members. So if asked, there are like any of these 9 members, if put in the answer, so all of them are correct. So they may ask which of the following were or was not a member of a drafting committee. Now, enactment of the constitution. So constitution was adopted on November 26, 1949. And you must know about this, that because from 2015, India is also celebrating Constitution Day on November 26th. When it was adopted, it consisted of preamble, 395 articles and 8 schedules. And Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is not called as the father of Constitution of India because he was the chairman of the drafting committee. And it was adopted on November 26th and it was enforced on January 26, 1950, Purna Swarajya Divas, or the Republic Day, we call it. There was some criticism also of the Constituent Assembly because it was not a very representative body. As you know, the 292 members were elected by the provincial assemblies, not directly by the people of India. It was not a sovereign body. When it started in 1946, it was not a sovereign body. It became sovereign in 1947, 15th August. It took a lot of time, more than 2 years, around 3 years, right, to formulate, just below 3 years, from 13th December 1946 till 26th November 1949, just a little below 3 years. So it took a lot of time and dominated by Congress. As we know, 2068 members were from Congress out of the total. And mostly there were lawyers and politicians, no representation to other class. So it was again it was dominated by Hindus because the 73 seats of Muslims, they left Muslim leagues, right? So these were the criticism you can read in the book. It was a quite easy chapter to read, I guess. So these are a few questions. I'll read it out and you can put it in your answers in the comment box. Who among the following was the chairman of Union Constitution Committee of the Constituent Assembly? So who can you name? I think you can name because I have just named in the above slides. Next, of the 4 forms of political protest mentioned below, which one is derived from the name of the person who used it as a political weapon in the first time? This question was in 1996. It is a little old. I just wanted you to know about these 4 things. Okay. So please go through and just learn about these 4, meaning of these 4. This will also help you in mains answer writing. So this was it for today's video. And all the description you can find in the description box, and you can again email me. Please try to answer these questions in the comment box below. Thank you. All the very best.